Mary Josephine, I know that you say you're an independent. You voted. Had you ever voted Republican before now?
I was a Republican previously, yes. And what I felt, many years back that the Republican Party had left me. It didn't really have the values that I had. I speak for all Americans. I think that Americans generally are united in everything. And unfortunately, politicians have forced this upon us. I mean, shame on the politicians for many years not handling the immigration policies and not handling what was happening to our country. I mean, Reagan, back in the day, gave amnesty to so many people, and we thought that the border would be secure. We thought we were going to handle this illegal immigration policy. We didn't. And then we had manuals given out to Mexico during the Bush administration on how to get here, and, for humanitarian reasons. And, we fast forward to the last administration, and it's a free-for-all. I mean, our country is not safe. It's a national security issue. I left New York City to move to North Carolina, and I was telling Robin earlier that here I am thinking I'm leaving New York City because it would be safer elsewhere, and we have Venezuelan gangs doing home invasions 2 or 3 houses down from us. I mean, it's a scary situation. I feel for everybody that's here. I feel that if you came here, you wanted to work hard, you want to provide for your families, absolutely you should. But it's been so out of hand that everything's been given to everybody but Americans that I think you have this real anger with the American people. And what Trump did was he united all these different political parties, it's people who never thought they would vote, as for a Republican president, did so because they want a safe country. They want New York City to be the way it used to be. They want it to be safe. They want it to be clean. They want to be able to go to a restaurant, have a good time, not worry about walking down the street. It's unfortunate that we're in this situation.
We have heard from the president, lawmakers, pollsters, and pundits. Now it's time to hear from the voters. It's voters' voices. And with me in the front row, Mary Josephine, an independent, Jamil, Democrat. And in the back row, Teresa, Republican, Stephanie, Democrat. And I understand recently switched to independent, which is not a political party, but certainly a frame of mind. We'll get into it. And Robin, a Republican. For all of you, I know you voted for Trump. Some of you were with me on election night, and welcome back. It's great to see you guys. All right, Jamil, I'm coming to you first. You are a college at the University of Chicago. You are a Democrat. You now call yourself a conservative Democrat. First of all, how is the president doing on his #1 promise with getting out the worst of the worst illegal immigrants?
He's been doing a great job so far. I wake up every day and I read the headlines and I get impressed by his creativity, but I also think he can go further, such as with his bid to end birthright citizenship. He could start printing papers for the undocumented children here that are currently being born, and then force the foreign governments of the country of origin to accept those citizenship papers diplomatically. And I also think I go to Chicago and I see the immigration crisis at the forefront in front of my school on the corners. I don't think we should wait until unpopular mayors like Brandon Johnson lose their elections. I honestly think if mayors like him obstruct Tom Homan or President Trump, they should be arrested. They should be indicted, put on trial, because they weren't afraid to put him on trial when he was just running for office. So I would say let the voters in the community talk about, is using taxpayer dollars against common sense policies, is it illegal? And I think you would see that Mayor Brandon Johnson, so many other mayors would be criminally charged.
What are you studying?
Okay, so I kind of agree and disagree with this gentleman. When he's speaking on the birthright citizenship, he was saying that our government should basically force when somebody has a baby in the country, if you're visiting or on vacation, or if you're coming here illegally and you have a child, that our government should create papers for the child wherever the parent came from. Now that's an interesting approach I haven't heard of before, but that's something to talk about and think about. And this is why when we talk about ideas and people vote for people we elect, We want to come up with ideas to help come up with solutions. And at least this gentleman came up with an idea that is something worth talking about. I can't say I fully agree or disagree with that, but nobody should be coming in this country illegally. And if you're coming on vacation while you're pregnant, you should know ahead of time that okay, around this time frame, I should be having a baby. It shouldn't be, the moment you're about to pop it out, pop your baby out, and be in a different country. You should be in your home country to have your baby, your doctor to take care of you and make sure you're having a good pregnancy. Okay, and then his second point on mayors not complying with the federal government. So he was speaking on Brandon Johnson out of Chicago, how he's and a lot of other mayors around the country are choosing not to listen or do what the federal government is doing. They're choosing to stay in their lane and say, hey, federal government, you do whatever you want to do. I don't necessarily think they should be arrested, how he suggests, but the people that live within those communities should have the ability to vote them out and not wait until they're due for re-election. Just because there could be instances where our government could have certain things that could be purely evil, and it should give the rights of mayors to say, you know what, I don't find that morally right or morally correct. In this case, it's about illegal immigration. Illegal. So if you broke the law and you came in illegal, that's not morally wrong. It's not morally wrong to deport you. So that's what I have to say on those points.
I mean, I came up with several careers right there. You could be a political analyst, you could be an attorney. Thank you for all of that. And it sounds like you've made a migration now, at least in your mind and politically. We'll have to see how you vote in the future, but that's so interesting. We have another Democrat among us, and that is Stephanie. And I understand now you're leaning more independent, maybe not exactly one party or the other. You just heard from Jamil. What would you like to add to that?
So I think the country is the most divided it's ever been in my lifetime. The Democratic Party doesn't represent my values as much anymore. I think it's shifted so much from kind of the Clinton era party that I grew up on. And I think now it's kind of representing these really elitist, maybe even socialist ideals. I'm a mother of 4 kids. I have real concerns. I have, really immediate issues that I want to make sure are addressed. And I think as an independent, I can use my own brain. I can have an open mind and a critical ear and look at candidates for who they are and what they represent, and if that mirrors my values. As far as adding on to Trump's border policies, immigration, birthright citizenship, I think the Constitution was meant to be reevaluated and debated, and this incredible country that we live in is built on discourse and debate and discussion and smart people coming together to solve big problems in a constructive way so that we can have this incredible liberal democracy that we live in, which is a give and a take. You have to balance your independent identity with serving the good of a greater society as well, and we've lost that. We have this kind of entitled, I deserve everything attitude, and I think that's kind of ruling the roost right now.
I really like some of the things she said here. Discourse, debate, discussion. I mean, these are things that are necessary to actually solve problems and issues in this country from all parties. No matter which Democrat, Republican, Independent, no matter who you are, point of views, we have to sit down at the table and discuss, okay, this is why I believe the pros and cons of this. Okay, let's hear your side. Okay, now we have to find a middle ground to basically move forward in life and make it into law why we want to move this way, and we both have to be at least content with certain things we may not fully agree on. And honestly, this is a lot what the Democrats lack. They don't want to come sit at the table. They want to just wreak havoc, push lies through the media that they honestly control, and then end up lying to the American people to their face, saying that, you know, they want to push certain things and the greater good, very good words spitting out their mouths, but get elected and then go the opposite way. And it's getting to the point in 2025 now where the majority of the people, we're not stupid. We're not stupid. We're paying attention now. We're like, okay, we see what's going on. The actions are not aligning with the words that you're saying. So we're choosing to flip our party just to basically because we need to be heard. We need to be heard. And then when she spoke on being entitled, I believe social media and generations play a part in this because, you know, I believe probably, I don't know, 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago, parenting was a lot stricter, I can say. Just from experiences, talking to so many different people in my life, I feel like back then, before I was born, I mean, things were a little bit more stricter in the sense of teaching kids more about morals and values, going to church. A lot of that stuff kind of faded away from parenting. And parents now don't even care to actually teach their children. They buy them a cell phone or an iPad and say, you know, go to school, make sure you get good grades. But now they're filled with information, not just from school, but everything from Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, all these apps, and they're learning through social media, and it's teaching them bad habits that, you know, we have the freedom to have these apps, but I personally believe they should be capped. I believe no kids should have any type of social media until they graduate high school. Until you're 18, 17, 18, when you graduate high school, then you should be allowed to be on social media. But during school, your full focus should be education, learning about this country's history, all math, English, science, all these things should be taught without any distractions. That's just my opinion.
Sanctuary cities are responsible for deaths of thousands of young children throughout my career. And we're going to sue them, we're going to hold them. And look, if he's got to go to the Supreme Court, that's what President Trump wanted to do. He will end sanctuary cities. Sanctuaries are sanctuaries for criminals, bottom line.
I've been saying that.
All right, Teresa, I want to go directly to you. I mean, one of the things that we've seen with Tom Homan, the border czar, is immediate. He got started before anything because he didn't need a Senate confirmation to hold the role that he has.
I think this is a very sensitive topic, and I am a little wishy-washy on it because I believe that America is home of the free, home of the brave. We're a melting pot. My great-grandparents came over from Italy, and that's important for who we are as a country. But that's why I voted President Trump, because he has been so adamant about his decisions, about what he believes. He stands by it. And that's why I voted for him, because for someone who maybe is uncertain about certain issues, you need a leader that is going to put his foot down and say, okay, I'm going to help you out. Let me make the decision and let me do it fast and the right way.
See, what she just said is exactly what I've said in some previous videos, is that the majority of the American people are looking for a leader who puts their foot down, who says, hey, we need to get law and order back in check in this country. We need to claim sanity back into this country. And we also need to let the world know that we're not someone just to lay over and die.
And I want to come back to you too, Jamil, because you mentioned something about Brandon Johnson, who's one of the most far-left mayors in the country. And in fact, Democrat leaders, including Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker, along with local mayors like Brandon Johnson and Boston's Michelle Wu, have repeatedly expressed their defiance, their resistance to Trump's immigration crackdown. Watch this.
We also have a law in the books in Illinois that says that our local law enforcement will stand up for those law-abiding, undocumented people in our state. We're doing the right thing, and we're not going to help federal officials just drag them away.
Our police officers will not be cooperating with federal law enforcement around federal immigration law.
Federal government can implement their laws, and we are not forced to participate in their actions.
What this administration is attempting to do He's attempting to get us to surrender our humanity. We're not going to do that in Chicago.
You know what is
Humanity.
interesting with Democrats, and Jamil, I'd be curious to get your take on this. They're willing to break the law to show that they care. And Republicans and independents, every other person who may have voted for Trump on this issue doesn't see it that way. You don't have to break the law to help people. What's your take?
I think when you have a politician such as Brennan Johnson, their number one goal should be to be understood, and that's using their bully pulpit, that's advocating for the people that pay tax dollars to them. And you see in many instances, he uses race to scapegoat a lot of the ideas that he has. He tries to use emotional appeal, such as our humanity. But I think when I'm 23 years old, I've been in college for about 4 years, and when I'm walking to Target near my college, I see immigrants, a young mother with 2 children laying out on the sidewalk. Me walking by them and us walking by them as like young people, that diminishes our humanity every single day. Or even so, my family that are trying to buy college tickets to come see me graduate in the spring, they want to buy hotel rooms. But the issue is some of the hotel rooms near us has shut down to house illegal immigrants. So it's always, whose humanity are you looking out for?
Wow.
And why not us, that we're paying so many tax dollars, sales revenues to Brandon Johnson to represent us. And every time we try to ask him a question, we get the runaround on some emotional appeal about other people who do not pay taxes to him.
All right, guys. Well, you know my point of view. I really like what majority of these people were saying, and let me know what you guys think in the comments below. If you could like and subscribe, I'd appreciate it. Until next time, peace out, guys.